Hello and welcome to Family Dynamics. It's Katherine.
Hi, it's Liz.
And Ed.
And John.
So here we go. Let's talk about Christmas and New Year's.
Ooh.
All right. What did everybody do? I mostly saw everybody, so I kind of know some stuff. We had a big family gathering at Ginny's house. She tends to host every year. It was lovely. We missed the Fogs. The Fogs were not there, and the Killmonds did not come down, James's family. But otherwise, very festive.
Yeah, it was exciting to see all of James's family together. I mean, they didn't come down to see us, but they all actually gathered. So James had all of his children under one roof. It was pretty cool. They sent us a picture.
Yeah, it was cute.
Everyone's the same height. That's, not okay anymore.
Yeah, it is funny when everybody grows up and you're all like, ooh, they're all adults. Look at that. Okay.
I don't know. I have like holiday hangover right now. I'm currently like in my pajamas basically recording this, so I'm exhausted. We even, going back earlier in the week, I hosted I don't think our mom coined this or made up this holiday, but Christmas Adam.
Right, because Adam comes before Eve, right? Mm-hmm.
So if you go way back into our young adult years, after our father had passed away, Mom wanted to have a holiday party. And I don't think she wanted to compete with Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Sure.
So she came with this idea of I want to have an open house for you and all your friends on Christmas Adam.
Is that really where it started? I don't even remember that. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a wild party. I think a bathtub was full of booze.
No, what?
Yes.
Really?
And there was a lot of, I think the underage, but, could have been appropriate, depending on how you view drinking, so maybe they were like 19 and 20. Virginia's friends were young, but definitely not drinking age. But partook. So it was like, and I don't think Mom the first year really realized that.
Oh, I see.
So it was a very raucous, fun party. And it was like tons of people came. I
don't think I even really participated other than probably myself.
No, you probably didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing you, no.
Well, okay.
And I don't think Eddie or
I
you
surely wasn't old enough to participate, so.
Or you were there, but having friends, no.
Yeah, I think Ed and I were there, and we participated. That doesn't mean we had to drink. That's not the only way to participate, Elizabeth.
But also, bring friends. You didn't bring friends, did you?
No, we didn't bring friends.
Okay, that's what she means, I think.
Whatever. It was a raucous party. Yes, we were there. And being the children of the party, thank you.
Yeah, and I by no means meant the two of you. I was saying Virginia was sort of the age where I'm sure her and her friends were drinking already.
Well, they were teenagers at a house party. Of course.
Yeah.
But it was a house party that was, in a home during the holidays and with the mother there. So, but she just wasn't paying close enough attention to what was going on that first year. And I remember my friends from college, some were married already. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And the next year, Mom had woken up to the fact of what had happened and said, well, there'll be no underage drinking.
Oh, okay.
I think half of Virginia's friends showed up.
They're like, well, never mind.
They're like,
it doesn't sound as fun. Yeah.
But a lot of kids would come into town right around those days, right before the holiday.
Sure, of course.
So it was a very fun event to come to. So I think Mom had it for definitely, I think it was 3 years.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then, people were moving away, or I don't know if I was even living at home, so it was just much more of it just fell off, and that's fine.
Didn't it evolve into more of like a family gathering and giving kids gifts?
That's what's exhausting me.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I think there was a pause, and then Grandmary had a new idea.
Right.
Well, also in the sisters' quest to kill gifts, they were like, what if you give all your gifts at a separate time?
Well, gift giving is so time consuming.
Well,
I think we realized trying to do it all on a Christmas, because Grandmary does her classic Grandmary thing where she has to buy so much stuff for everyone
and wrap all of it. So you're going to get a wrap box of Kleenex. I mean, it's all wrapped, so it's too much.
It's a labor-intensive endeavor.
And kids,
not a box of Kleenex, two to-go packs.
Yes.
2 to-go packs wrapped together at least.
Yeah, how else are you going to fill up your stocking?
Yep, exactly. Oh, stockings notoriously in our family were toiletries. So, your new toothbrush for the year.
Yeah, so the genius idea was to move her gifts to a separate occasion, Christmas Adam. And then also somehow I was like, well, what if we make that even more complicated? And there's an activity for the children. So it won't even be, a one-part party.
Like what kind of activity? Like gingerbread houses? That ended up being a separate thing with Rosemary for a couple of years there, but...
It's fun how
Or
you guys don't
cookies?
remember things.
I mean, I don't
Yes,
remember,
that-
obviously.
Yes.
It started with, continued and changed into Granbury doing, not her doing, but those gingerbread houses started with her. And then
Really?
Rosie took that over. Am I crazy? I don't think
No,
I'm
I
crazy.
think you're right. And she would do cookies, and it was chaos. Poor mom. I mean, it's not like she's ever ready, even on like Christmas Day. So it's like the idea that we made her be ready, all wrapped 2 days before, is like cruel. Like when you think about it, you're like, no. And this is when we had not readjusted. And this year, I'll say, I felt like, what the hell happened? We completely lost the control of this. Where in the beginning, we were all excited to have nieces and nephews, and she having grandchildren, and then she has 8 children, but currently buying for 7. So it was sort of crazy where there's so many gifts.
Everybody was trying to buy for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an old approach. Yes.
So I don't know who introduced the idea of pick a name of one sibling and pick a name of a grandchild.
Right. We used to do it on Thanksgiving, right? Like pull names out of a.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to out myself that
Yeah, you're a jerk.
I'm
and it completely backfired this year. I mean, so
I usually opt out, is what I'm getting at. I was like, I don't even want to do this. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want anyone to get me stuff. I don't want to get anyone stuff. I know, I'm a real Grinch.
It couldn't be more ridiculous, the things you both are saying. But yes, it's been multiple years of it has fallen apart because we haven't done the exchange in at least 3 or 4 years.
it definitely predates COVID because I think Michelle, our sister-in-law, she also like kind of opted out. Like, I'm not going to participate, or you don't need to put our names in at Thanksgiving. It was like, wait, what? Because if we're going to see you, then I feel bad that,
You want the festive element of
Right.
having a gift for someone in their family or everyone in their family.
because it was great. Because if you put your name in, you put down maybe 5 items that you would like, and the budget was like $50 to $100. So you actually got a nice gift. And it only required you to go get that one nice gift for one kid.
Well,
Right.
then the upshot of that was the experience of giving those gifts wasn't an entire day-long party event with other things. It was like one gift. Congratulations. Moving on. Next person. 7 gifts. We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It still ends up being
Lots
a very
more.
long time. Also, Liz, you're forgetting part of the problem, or not problem. It was somewhat dependent on how many children you had. So,
Right.
like, you have one kid, so you only got one other kid. Ed and I were, like, messing up the math by not having kids. But then if you had multiple kids, you end up taking, I'm going to pick multiple other kid tickets.
yeah, so Michelle then carried the brunt of it with 5 kids. So she
Right.
still had to get 5 gifts, I guess. So that sort of fell apart at some point.
Wasn't there a year where we did like a family gift? Like pick a family name and then you give like a gift to the family.
It probably evolved into that.
No, I don't think so.
How do
But
I remember that and no one else remembers that? That's hilarious.
You like to make things up. Who
what?
knows? I'm sure I'm wrong. Look, I blame all 4 sisters and not Michelle. But I think, look, there could have definitely been background talks, that were there's always background talks about things. But there was definitely not Michelle only fault. There was multiple naysayers among sisters.
Multiple, Michelle and Katherine.
So that's multiple.
it.
That's two.
For sure, Rosie and Jenny were part of it as well.
What? Oh, really?
No. Rosemary is one of the catalysts of it because on her in-law side, they do something very similar. So in some ways, that's where
The idea came from?
originated.
Ah.
Yeah. And then I don't know about Virginia. I can't say. I've never heard her say anything negative about it.
Well, here's the tough thing. Who in the world knows what you people talk about? But I think as it was falling apart, none of you tried to keep it going, except for probably Virginia. So then it's like, oh, I don't realize that it's definitely not happening because of whatever reason. I'm just hearing like, well, it's already falling apart, so whatever.
But I did enjoy it because I remember one year I got JP, who was a notorious curmudgeon as a child. But his list, he had a skateboard on it.
Oh.
So I was able to track down, a pretty cool skateboard. He was very excited when he opened that up Christmas morning. And they were with us Christmas morning, which is insane.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of those years they were with us.
When they lived here?
Yes.
It is crazy to remember. That quickly fell apart trying to do Christmas morning. I don't know. That was like...
It was like a Christmas brunch and snacks. Do your own breakfasts.
Yeah, I don't know. That very quickly fell apart with kids.
Yeah, because really, when you have kids, you want to wake up, stay in your pajamas, open your Christmas gifts, and not immediately get dressed and go someplace. So even at grandma's house, no thank you. And so I think that's why that's kibosh. Like, no, we'll see you for dinner. But I remember JP opening up his skateboard. He was so excited, and he went and, tried it out across the street from Mom's house. And I was like, score. That was one of the ones I really...
Nice job.
Yeah, I was like, oh gosh, I actually did well. But I think, I got the most, typical, niece or nephew reaction, like, oh, thank you. Like, just so
Sure.
no enthusiasm toward me, who actually gave the gift, which is fine, but he was excited about the gift. So
I'll say that. There was almost like not anti-enthusiasm, but it was just like, it's hard to get a gift for one out of these 20 people that I'm related to. And I got to pick a name out of a bag, not someone who I actually know and can figure out what they would like. I think I got it right once. And I also feel like if I brought it up, I'd be secretly made fun of by all of James's children because they love a good, quick gossip behind someone's back. Not negative gossip, more like, can you believe he brought up that gift again? Oh my God, that gift is 6 years old. He loves that scarf that he gave Marie. Yeah, I do, because I think Marie liked it. That was it. That's all I got. I did good once.
Well, we're touching so many times on the gift giving episode that we did that one time. Look, you give a gift, you just wash your hands. Good, bad, who cares? It was a gift.
You tried, that's it.
And now I'll fast forward to the Christmas Adam of this year. I still don't understand how the hell this happened. So Rosie was not going to be with us Christmas night. So Virginia and her had spoken and said, well, the girls are still going to want to see you on Christmas. We still need to have a get together. And so they sent out a group text, and I was like, okay, great. There's going to be a Christmas
Adam. It was supposed to be super chill, watch Elf and have pizza at Rosemary's, or at least it was like started by Rosemary.
And I knew it couldn't be at Virginia's house because she was hosting Christmas evening, so that's a bit much.
Christmas
2 days before, like have us all over, 2 days before makes no sense. So I really kind of assumed you'd be at Rosie's because you hit on it before. She had sort of taken over and usually the week before Christmas had kids over to make gingerbread houses all together.
She kind of likes to do a little event with the kids, even though now they're not really kids anymore.
But they were instant to it.
Yeah, but that's why that fell apart, because they're not quite kids anymore. So then it was trying to revive it, but the enthusiasm. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if the enthusiasm was there with, late teenagers, but I think they would have begrudgingly done it. But Rosemary had hosted a couples party for her friends, I think the week before. So she's like, well, I had a party. I go, but it wasn't for the family. That doesn't
she's like,
count.
Yeah, but I'm over it.
Yeah, I'm like, your house is decorated. I mean, can't we? So she was like, no, it should be at your house. I'm like, wait, what?
I did not understand that that's how that went down.
Yeah, because I hosted Thanksgiving. So honestly, I rarely do anything hosting over Christmas. I mean, I attend a lot of stuff. That's why I said I'm holiday hungover.
I feel like you've done some open houses on Christmas, but
I have. It's always been a mistake. I'm always so exhausted. I've hosted a Christmas Eve day party. I have hosted a Christmas Eve, night at my house. Mm-hmm. I've definitely had holiday parties. They're just exhausting. So I don't typically, but somehow I got talked into hosting Christmas Adam because it's going to be so easy. You're just going to
but you're not going to do the easy version of it.
It's not my DNA. So and also John and I decided to stop by one of the businesses I consult with to finish a project because it should only take an hour. That took
later,
4 hours. So I rolled in to prep Christmas Adam starting at 5:30. I was home at 3:30.
Oh, geez.
So I was like, yikers. So Mark and I are pretty good at the mad dash getting ready, but it was like, this is insane. And so everybody came over except for the Killmonds who were, up north and weren't in town. But everybody came over and it was a big hangout. And yes, Grandmary rolled in with a bunch of gifts for people, which I was like,
all of her gifts.
I had forgotten that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, if it was reminded in any way, but that happened on schedule.
It's funny because I really thought from the initial text of pizza and the movie Elf that it would legitimately be pizza and the movie Elf. Oh no, it was like a full-blown party, and then for sure
charcuterie and cheese out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is gonna sound dumb, but I didn't even think Grandmary was coming, so much less Grandmary coming with 1,000 gifts in tow. That was not on my radar.
So classically you're not remembering, but then second of all, when are you going to mention what you did?
What?
Did you bring something or many things, Katherine?
What? The treats that I brought or the drinks that I brought?
Drinks.
Okay.
Both.
Okay, so
this is, I don't give gifts. What if I give each family 12 gifts?
No, I gave like a little bag of, I call it like Christmas cheer. So it was like cookies and like a beverage, some alcoholic, some not, whatever. But during that process of putting together like a bag, what, John?
Just a little bag seems like a slight misdirect.
Under-representation.
Well, I kind of went a teeny bit overboard because, I was at Trader Joe's and everything looked so good. So most people got in their little bag at least 2 types of cookies, maybe, a beverage of some kind. And then chocolate oranges happened, so that got thrown in there. Yeah, It turned out to be kind of but also like I don't really do gifts for people. So
that's what this was.
I know. Well, whatever. I remember Ed's idea of like, get consumables. That's a great gift. I'm like, yes, it is. So
consumables or things that will deteriorate, like plants and balloons and other trash that doesn't have to stick around your house. It's great.
You don't have to worry
Those are
about
the best
it.
Gifts.
Balloons.
Yeah.
Well, not for Christmas.
No, not
but
for Christmas. In general,
birthday.
gift giving in my realm is like, I don't want to add to your pile. We all have our piles. You didn't ask for something for your pile, so you're not getting it. You're getting something that can go in the recycling bin. Congratulations.
Yeah,
My regifting closet.
Yeah.
I never mind if it's not consumable because someone else will get it if I don't want it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did bring a bag for each family, just for each family, not for each person. But then it had like multiple little things in it. And then while I was at Trader Joe's this year, I think they did it.
They started last year.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's many flavors though.
yeah. Now they do, again, I don't know how many years they've done it. I've seen them before, but I didn't do them.
Partake.
But they do a cream liqueur that's like, I'm a big fan of Bailey's, so which is delicious. And I gave bottles of Bailey's one of the years during the pandemic. I came around and like dropped it off on people's porches. So it was like cookies and Bailey's. And, for the non-drinking houses, I did Martinelli's or whatever. But this year I was like, gosh, Bailey's is like $25 a bottle. What a rip. I don't know and I'm like, how are these Trader Joe's liqueurs? Like they're like $6 or something. Like, are they good? And I didn't want to like be like, I don't know. Here, everybody try them. But on Christmas Adam, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm just going to bring the selection of all the flavors that they have. They have like a chocolate one, an eggnog one, and they're all
Gingerbread.
correct gingerbread.
Peppermint.
They didn't have the peppermint, but I did end up finding it later. So for Christmas Adam, I brought like a bottle of each flavor. Right, John? More than that?
Yes.
Well,
and
look,
they were also in the bags.
I had bought for people's bags, alcohol drinkers. I put one in their bag of little treats. And then I bought a whole bunch to crack open on Christmas Adam, which they were a total hit. I mean, the eggnog one was amazing. The chocolate one was amazing. What was the other one?
I had gingerbread.
What did I say?
You started...
Oh, wait, I said eggnog. Did you try the eggnog one, Liz?
Oh yeah, it was delicious.
Oh, okay, good.
And I'm not a big fan of eggnog bottled with the booze.
Oh, like
I like to
Adjust it yourself.
mixologist the thing out. So I was like, what is this? I don't know if I trust this.
In the realm of eggnog with the booze included, man, just complete swing and a miss. John and I was grocery shopping and I was like, oh, look. One that says Southern Comfort on it. I think Katherine said that's her jam. Southern Comfort.
Southern Comfort's great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's get that. And then did not read the label, and it's not included. It's just a label that says Southern Comfort ready eggnog. Add your own.
just
We didn't
eggnog.
include it. That's why it's only $5, you dummy.
Yeah, it was both of us, and it was completely misleading.
Oh my
So
God, funny.
did you pour it? And the first sip was like,
No, we read it, and we're like, where is the percentage? Oh, 0%. Great.
Yeah, when we
Whoops.
somehow, after we had gotten home and like, whatever, now we're going to have it, somebody was looking at it and it was like, no, it's ready. And then it was like, no, it isn't ready.
I mean,
Gotta add rum to
yeah.
that.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Eggnog is controversial to begin with. People either love or hate it. Every year, Mark has to try a sip of my eggnog and then goes, yep, nope, not into it.
Not into it.
So this year, I'm like, no, don't even take a sip of it.
Get away.
Because this is a different one. This is already with the alcohol in it. I'm like, go ahead. Nope, not into it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. But, it goes back to our childhood on Christmas Eve when we come back from midnight mass, or what? I mean, now I think about, like, did we really go to midnight mass?
It couldn't have been at midnight. Maybe it started at 10 and got out at midnight.
I don't know.
I don't know.
As
No,
kids,
it was
we did
midnight.
not go to midnight mass. You've got that story wrong. We never ever did that. We went to a party and we got home late, all dressed up like we'd been to mass. We never did it.
Mostly we just had to wrangle and go in the morning, which was always terrible.
Especially
Like,
after a
ugh.
late party.
Yeah.
So we would get home from the late party, and Mom, the one gift, we've talked about it, but she would make fresh eggnog, which is just like the risk of getting this all salmonella on Christmas Eve was really high. But then there's a famous episode with Martha Stewart where she's making fresh eggnog.
Oh,
With Jimmy Fallon, and it's like he's like blown away by egg yolks, alcohol, whipping the egg whites, and then topping with whipped cream. He's like, it's delicious, but it's like he even is like,
am I just drinking an egg right now?
What am I
I'm not
drinking?
sure.
Oh my God. And it's like, but I'm her mom with a whisk, like whipping the hell out of eggs. And it's like, now, I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but you just realize wow, that was crazy.
risky.
And so, like I said, I like eggnog where I kind of control the alcohol and make it myself. So having this Trader Joe's pre-bottled, pretty delicious straight out of the
good.
bottle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
low
so-
maintenance, did not require anything other than I did add a dash of fresh nutmeg.
Yeah. Well, that's a good move.
Yeah.
I think we put the nutmeg on top of the gingerbread. No, what was it? Is it
I did gingerbread
Yeah,
too.
okay.
Yeah, that was really good.
That one was really good.
And then I tried peppermint on Christmas, and it was like just drinking a candy cane. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't. This might be
It was
too
a little
much.
bit straight pepperminty. Yeah.
Right.
Which I think is good.
Yeah. So Christmas Adam, and I didn't know people were gonna be coming in with gifts and exchanging, and so I did not have anything wrapped ready to go. I was like, you'll all be getting at Christmas if I have anything for you, because.
I got you this pizza. Look, I unwrapped it.
But I also didn't know that, I was like, how did this happen? That I feel like this year, once again, we're like all exchanging gifts and we're giving gifts to everybody. This has to stop.
It was out of control.
Yeah.
Ginny went bananas. She was super cute. She got everybody ridiculous cute shirts and pajamas, and she went all out.
Yeah, a lot of times there were multiple. It was like, are you this shirt and this shirt? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Well, because she had already given us some stuff when she came in and recorded the What We're Watching Christmas episode. And so she gave us a bunch of stuff
Yes.
already. So
I
that
lived
was,
in those Grinch sweats.
Yeah.
Sweats. I loved them. Yeah, and then they're all holiday themed clothes, like holiday
Pajama sets
t-shirts,
and-
pajama sets.
Wait, are you saying I can't wear my you'll shoot your eye out pajama pants year round?
Nah.
Why
Of course
not?
you
Good,
can.
I guess. She did give me a Yellowstone themed pair of pajamas, so I could wear those. They are highly flammable material, though.
Do
What?
They,
Oh,
they
no.
also have a gun pocket in them or something?
No, but if I got close to my my tea kettle range, it's like, oh my gosh, the whole thing can go up. It's like, I don't know, they're great, but it's like. So we talked about on a previous episode where I had roller skates as a kid,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and I'm still disgruntled that somebody got rid of them out of the family garage. Where are my white
Yes.
boot, yellow wheeled, rainbow laced roller
It is
skates?
true. Metal, leather, and rubber last forever, especially
They
in an open air
do.
garage.
Yeah.
It would have been perfect.
I'm
in perfect,
sure they wouldn't have rotted.
Sure, they
Perfect
probably
condition.
still would be excellently
Little
broken
bit of
in.
oil.
Antique Roadshow. These 1970, perfectly untouched,
they're
never
so
skated
good.
in. Oh wait, they were skated in, and they've been in
Oh, yeah.
open air for 25 years. They've been thrown out, Liz. I don't know what you think is going in the garage.
No, I know they're gone. So still sad about it. So Virginia surprised me, and I was genuinely surprised
Oh my God, it was the cutest thing ever.
with a pair of gold roller skates.
Yeah.
Now,
You lost your mind. It was hilarious and adorable.
yeah, it was a Christmas miracle. As I said to Mark was like, how'd she even know? I go, well, she is a loyal listener to our podcast, unlike you. And she understands my heart wish. Now that Mark was like, get out.
Apparently, she did this within moments of hearing it.
Oh, she went online immediately, right?
Yeah.
While she was listening.
And also texted Mark for your shoe size without trying to she said not for shoes, but apparently this gave him no clues.
Yeah,
Oh.
because he obviously hadn't listened to the podcast, didn't know that you had recently been talking about roller skates. No idea.
Right, because Mom gave Ethan the Rummy Cube game.
Oh, uh-huh.
So they had already set it up and were playing on the dining room table when I screamed with glee over my roller skates. And God love my husband and son. It was the modern day, you'll shoot your eye out.
Right.
You're going to fall and break your hip. They said that literally like fucking 20 times. I was like, oh my God. They're like, oh.
Honestly, that should have been a plot line in the new movie. You'll fall and break your hip. Oh, you can't get a skateboard at 45, you dummy. Oh, that would have been amazing.
That is literally, Ethan still goes, Mom, I'm so scared about you and those roller skates. I'm like, oh my gosh. It made me like freak out. Like, God, am I an invalid? Like, I mean, what's happening here? So I put them on, and of course, Virginia and her girls brought their like inline skates, and Virginia has roller skates, like the old school, like tennis shoe kind. So we went out on the sports court, and I just took it very slowly to get, because I will admit, even rollerblading, it has had to have been at least 15 years since I've rollerbladed.
Yeah, you had to get your legs back. You had to get your,
And we all got used to rollerblades, which is the inline and the brake is at the back versus roller skates, the brake is at the front. So
You were always a front breaker in regular skates. I was a T-stop in rollerblades. You got to do the T-stop. You don't use the brake.
Oh no, I did that too. But both regardless, the last thing I did on rollerblading type of vibe was inline rollerblades. It was not roller skates. So I don't think I've had a pair of roller skates on for the better part of 30 years.
Yeah, I think Ginny has gone to some roller skating parties with the girls. So she's kind of back in the world of roller skating. So,
and she looked up where we could go. So I said, okay, yeah, we'll figure it out. But I'm happy to report no injuries, not even a fall.
It's funny because in the podcast, that's what we talked about, like that it would be a terrible idea for you to get a pair of roller skates. But I don't even think Ginny heard that part because she was already ordering them for you.
Virginia's got confidence in Liz. That's what it is.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. So I love them. I love them. And that's where I did the elf quote. I love them. I love them. I love them. I don't care who knows. So that became our kind of quote over the holidays. But yeah, that was a very, like I said, a heart wish. And then, but actually,
you have hardwood floors all over your house. You didn't just start skating around the house.
I did.
She did. In the next couple days.
I gotta make some bacon.
Even that night. And then the next day I put them on. Mark was like, oh God, please stop. So I've done a Christmas moratorium on them just so we can get through, unscathed or hurt. And that was Christmas Adam. Turned out lovely. But then, Ginny turned on Elf. It was like by 11:30, I was like, get out. I am so tired.
Yeah, the movie was very late. I was impressed because Sarah didn't come because she was not feeling well, but Adam came, and he doesn't usually watch movies beyond the extent of the popcorn. Like Eric will take him to the movies and he'll sit there for the trailers and a little bit of the movie, but he doesn't seem to really understand what's going on. So as soon as the popcorn's gone, he wants to be on his phone. He's just like fidgeting, whatever. But sitting there watching Elf, which did start at like 9:30, 10.
Yeah.
Like when did we start it? It was so late
I was
already.
like, oh, we're still doing the movie. I was like, oh God. This has been a long day and you're rolling right into Christmas Eve. And I was like, I have so many gifts to wrap still. I was like, when is this
Get out, everyone.
And I, for some
had
reason,
a gift wrapping party.
Well, John and I kind of did have one together, but primarily John. For some reason, I thought the mass I go to on Christmas Eve is like a 5 o'clock mass. It was 4 p.m.
4?
Which means you really need to leave by 3:30, which means you need to be getting ready by 2:30, which means your day is half or a third of what you thought it was going to be. So I was like, oh my God. So
and that's on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, but I looked over at Adam watching Elf, and he seemed genuinely engaged.
He was like really watching it.
And really enjoying it. Like he actually had a big smile on his face at one point. Maybe because Will Ferrell's character, the bright green, I don't know what it was, but he was very into it.
Yeah, it was very cute because I would occasionally ask him questions just to see if he was tracking or interested. I'm like, he's an elf, but is he big or small? He's big. And he like kind of laughed. I'm like, he's kind of getting this. This is amazing. But then I think at like 10:30, so about halfway through the movie, I was like, oh my God, I got to get this child home because he's got to like mentally wind down or never like fall asleep. So I was like, Kennedy's got to go. Kennedys are out.
Yes, but most of the family still hung. So I was like, delirious. So yes, I hosted Christmas Adam this year. And then Christmas Eve woke up and, did the like last dash to a couple stores. And it was like, well, if I didn't get you something, we're done because I can't.
This is as good as it's going to get.
I can't do anymore. And got home. And Mark really said to me, he goes, only wrap or do what you need to do for the next thing. So if you're bringing a hostess gift, we went to a great Christmas Eve party. He basically said, only do that. And of course, I think in my head, well, when is there time? And like Christmas is tomorrow. But so we met at Mass. John, it was Mom.
So this is on Christmas Eve, the 4 o'clock
4 p.m. Mass. It's still bright out.
Well, whatever. It's the kid mass. If you don't want to wake your kids up early and get them out of the house on Christmas Day.
It's brilliant.
Okay, is it brilliant? All
yes,
right.
I'm not a Christmas go to Mass day at all anymore. It's like day before.
Except that you want it to be in the dark and later. But
yes.
Anyway, yes.
And colder. It was high. Listen, for those of you listening, experiencing extremely cold weather, it was what degree here, John?
God, it was like 80 on Christmas, I think. It was hot.
I think it was between 69 and 74, but sure.
What? No. We went for a family walk on Christmas, I think, before we went to Ginny's for dinner. And we were walking just in the neighborhood, and we were like, oh my God, it is actually hot.
Wait, the 70-degree house thought it was hot? This is crazy.
I know. We're very persnickety about temperature. It's like 70 to 72. 72 might be a little bit warm. Okay. Anyway.
Got to bundle up. Under 70.
Okay, so back to Christmas Eve.
So we did make it to, so it was kind of a mad dash, but getting ready and then yelling like, we gotta go, we gotta go. And I texted Virginia because I knew she'd be there on time. And I said, please save seats because we are coming. Which, John...
Look, I've given a lot of reactions in the last 3.5 seconds, but what are you referring to?
Because John and Brian, our gentle giant, like tall brother-in-law, they were the guardians of the gate, at the end of the pew.
They defend people off.
And yes, because I actually saw someone last night who basically said they went up to John and like, hey, can we get in the pew? And he's like, no.
No, my whole family's coming.
No, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Move
I
along.
was like, I don't think he recognized me. I know he's friends with the Romans, but sorry.
No, he recognized you. He's like, oh, okay. And in the past, poor Brian has, acquiesced to some old lady with a cane because he felt so bad. And then, what, Brian, how could you give the seat? So like this year he just stoically stood there and was like, no.
Oh gosh.
Well, legitimately, if you're that old lady, how'd that work out for you being in the mix of a bunch of Killmond, Dooley, Roman situation? Like,
they didn't know what they were
these are
getting
randoms.
into.
What's happening? Everyone's tall.
Look, it was brutal. I showed up with Mom there at about 3:35, and it was already, like half full.
Oh, wow.
And there were tons of people, and it was like, ooh, this is brutal. So we had a whole row and like a little extra piece. And yes, from then on, it was like people coming to get in there. And we were not mean, but it was like, no, sorry.
I showed up basically right on time.
On time, you mean at 4 o'clock?
Like 4:01, 3:58, like right in there. I missed Santa Claus going down the, center aisle, but not the priest.
These are loaded phrases, but
I didn't realize Santa
got it.
Claus was involved in this mass.
Sure.
Oh, wow. Okay.
For the kids.
And then the fogs were really holding back people taking.
Uh-oh.
But I will say my neighbor, Margarita, who is a member of the church and she is an usher and will give people seats. It was a blessing she was not there because she don't take no nothing. She will shove a person into any square inch that's available. So she would not have, this would not have been flown if she was there.
If she had permission, she'd be sitting people on laps.
Yeah.
Double up.
Yeah, one of the ushers came by, and it wasn't like a stare off, but it was like, I'm saying no. You want me to give in. I'm not giving in. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Well, at least everybody showed up and filled in the space. Because imagine if it turns out, oh, they didn't show up and I've been holding it this whole time.
Well, in interesting fashion, so normally we end up with like somehow not enough space, or like we don't have a full row, or we have parts of 2 rows, and then like personalities end up being like, well, I don't know, maybe I don't want to be where you are. It's like, oh, what? What's happening?
We just sat somewhere else because we didn't know you were holding space for us.
Yeah, they can say that. But so then there's the like, well, we didn't want to squeeze in. There was too many. It was what?
My husband, are you talking about Mark? Because both at a dining room table and a pew, that asshole wants like full elbow room, like stretching. And I'm always like, it's a crowded party. It's a crowded dinner table. It's a crowded church. Like, you're not going to have like full range of motion. Like,
It's going to be squeezy.
Every Thanksgiving, do we not go through that when we sit at the tables?
We do.
It's always like, I just feel cramped. I go, this is a dining room table that's set for 10, like it's meant for 10 people. So I'm going to put 10 people at the table. And I go, 8 will look horrible. And every year we have to go through this discussion. I'm like, it is made for 10 chairs. So why am I not going to do 10 chairs?
Now, is he not satisfied with just his own position? Like, if he sits on the end, will he be happy, or is he worried about everyone else?
It's a weird, like, is it, you're making it sound like it's for everybody, but is it 80% you? But
Yes.
it's for everybody, for sure.
It started with his dad, who we needed to always put on the end of the table, which completely made sense for medical reasons, wheelchairs, fine. And now it's morphed into like, it's him. I go sit at the end of the table and then you're fine.
Okay, well, let's skip ahead and we can circle back, but I feel bad now because for Christmas dinner, we did one long table.
Which was great. It was really cool.
It worked out great because I think it was only 15 people instead of usually it's like closer to 20. So we do 2 smaller broken up tables. But I kind of put Mark in the middle. I should have put Mark on one of the ends. I didn't realize.
No, you actually did put him at the end. It was maybe he moved it and we don't realize he was not the head of the table, but he was
one of the corners.
One corner.
Oh,
so the corner provided mobility.
Okay.
So
all right.
Mass, we were not crammed, but
right,
full pew.
And it's not just Mark. It's it's basically all the brothers-in-law. Some of them more vocal than others. But. And, look, they're fighting for everyone else, not just themselves. So we had the whole row.
Space advocates.
We're waiting long as hell for all these other people to show up. But, okay, they're trickling in. Oh, okay, this person's parking, but they're not here. Okay, great. Okay. So finally we're waiting for the very last person. And we've basically got the whole row is pretty much full. And then I've still got this little extra section, but we've only got one more person coming. And it's like, yeah, but that person is not going to want to squeeze in. But then are they going to want to be with their family? So it was a real extra last minute, conundrum that I had to sweat out, which was fun. So then, right in the last 30 seconds before they sat down, I was like, why don't I let other people come in and give it up? So it was a really great call by me. But
yeah, so then he had to squeeze in.
No, he hadn't yet, but then he did. Seemingly, there was no moment that he wasn't going to.
Agree.
In my head, the plan I thought, my original plan was for Brian to slide over with his family and not be the pew guardian, but he didn't. And then at this late stage, it was like, well, why don't he just join me? But then he didn't do that either. So then I ended up being solo, which was... I don't care, but...
But then, of course, you missed Mom, who's way opposite you at the other end, was like, John can get in. I'm like, this is while Mass is going on. She's trying to get your attention to have you now squeeze into our pew, which at this point really is full.
Yeah, see, that was I'm not going to be even though I think it would be fine. It was like, I know other people would not be fine if we did this.
And you are so hard to even get your eye contact. And like the priest says, turn to your right or to your left to wish people Merry Christmas, or even the sign of the peace. And you're trying to get John, hi. He's so stoic down there.
Row.
Oh, God.
Look, it's tough.
He will
You're
not.
far away. I did, but you're just far away and, didn't time out. So
Yeah. I'm down with the nieces. We're crazy as always, so, and scoot in more. And Mom did not, because it's early enough Mass. I don't think she fell asleep at all this time.
Oh, wow.
The nodding off, I do not think happened. Our
Is that a regular thing that happens at Mass?
She's actually gotten better overall. It was kind of always, we did eventually go to Midnight Mass, the end of my childhood, no one else's childhood.
And we'd meet you there, some of us, yeah.
And she would definitely fall asleep every Midnight Mass.
It'd be like, hark the herald.
Even as it moved.
Angels sing.
Even as it.
Newborn King.
Sure, correct. Even as it moved closer to 10 p.m., she was going to fall asleep. And then it started to be random masses, because it's also like, well, if the homily is 6 minutes,
forget it.
And she's closing her eyes to concentrate, which fine, that's what you want to
Sure.
do.
I guess.
You're setting yourself up for failure, and she would fall asleep occasionally. But now she's actually been on a long trend of that not happening. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, she did well, and it was very nice. And then we all kind of went separate ways after Christmas Eve Mass.
Right. I will interject that we did end up getting together with, because we didn't go to Mass. The Kennedys did not go to Mass. But then we merged with some of the Mass crowd who went to a restaurant afterwards. So we joined them for
you
dinner.
did do that. That's
yeah, so it was the Dooleys and Ed and John. So
And
that was
Mom.
nice.
No.
And-
No, Mom had
no.
other plans.
This
Mom
Wait
had-
a minute. Did she go to my godmother's house? Yes. Oh my
I'm
God.
not
Once
outing
again,
her.
I'm not invited. Oh my God. The bitterness was right back at height level. Are you serious? She ditched her family.
Look, you are the same person because you are both heading a separate way that doesn't include everyone. So
True.
the rest of us have to make do.
True. I ditched my family too. But going back honestly to young adulthood, I've almost never been with you guys on Christmas Eve because one of my fondest memories.
Because you've been ditching us forever.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's par for the course. It's my Christmas rhythm. Like I just don't do Christmas Eve usually.
You got me on the 23rd. Back off.
Yeah, whatever.
Well,
See you
even
on the
before-
25th.
Yeah, even before the 23rd, we do anything Christmas Adam. My girlfriend's family, the Giglios, she invited me to their Seven Seas tradition, and so before midnight mass, when we did start to go to midnight mass, there was that gap. You're right, Ed. So when that family party, the Dragons family great party, dropped off, we didn't go to it anymore. It was sort of like a loose end, and some people worked at Nordstrom's late. It just
Yep.
became a very much like who knows where everybody's on Christmas Eve.
Who knows where those other people are? I got something to do.
Yep, boom, I'm out. So I went to the Giglios, which was an incredible like Italian feast for probably like a decade.
Yeah, you had a lot of years.
And then I don't know why that stopped at a certain point. It just, I don't know if her mom took a break for health issues. I'm not really sure
Why did you call it the Seven Seas?
Because in the Italian tradition, the night before is when Christmas Eve is when they really truly celebrate Christmas. And they serve traditionally 7 dishes that are seafood. So 7 C's. So it's like shrimp, scampi, and baked clams. So it's all seafood. And it's usually at least 7 courses. And it's like, it's kind of crazy because, you'll be having dessert and the entire family is opening up their like sweaters and scarves and socks from their relatives. Like, what am I here for? But it's like they really do their Christmas that night. So it's a big party usually for, if a traditional Italian family get together. So loved it. Went to that party for years. Then went to the Kardashian-Jenner party for years because I worked with the family. And then I hosted Christmas Eve. And then COVID changed all of that. We were doing.
Well, but then there was also this other one, the one you went to this year again.
Oh, well, this is what's interesting. Kris Jenner, when I first started to go to her Christmas Eve parties, it was 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock sharp, the invitation would say. It might have been 5 o'clock. And I said, well, I'm going to go to Mass and I'll come right afterwards. And because at the time, Kendall and Kylie were still young, that, she was still doing a Christmas morning, it was like everybody out by 9 p.m. It was like not the raucous going till 12 o'clock at night parties that they became at some point. So we would leave that party and go to my friend's party, which was also a big Italian get together up in like a canyon near our house. So it was like it was all close enough we could hit 2 parties. And this was the type of party where like this was going to like 11 or 12 o'clock at night. Full bar, it's old school. Like they were smoking inside. The first party I went to, it was like these all old aunts and uncles were in the corner smoking. Merry Christmas, your child's beautiful. And like stuff $100 in the car carrier. You're like, what is happening? But it was so great. Like the half cabbage with like, rolled up
Half
ham
cabbage?
and cream
What?
cheese. Because you take a half cabbage. Let's see that at our house. You cut it in half so it's a nice solid base, and you can roll up your little pieces of ham or salami with a cream cheese, stick a toothpick through it into the cabbage, and you're taking out the cabbage.
Oh, so the cabbage is like a
The
dome
display
Yeah, okay.
base. I don't know. I mean, there's so much crazy stuff, and they ate a lot of seafood, but also Italian food. So yes, that was a crossover for a bunch of years, and then her family stopped hosting it. And I think her sister picked it up, but it was way too far out. It was like, in the city. So it was like, well, how are we doing that in both parties? So everything's changed over the years, but I do typically, you're right, like Mom, ditch you guys after Mass. And this year, the Foggs and I went to a party that was the daughter of the Italian family, the Montagnas. So it was Krista Montagna, but her family's now the Gordons. She hosted a party and we went with the Fogs. And it was so many like young adult males. It was
really?
Aging from 50. There was like no little kids there. So like from 15 to 22, it was so many kids. A Santa came and they said, one of the kids goes, "Oh, gay Santa's here." And I go, "What? Like, why are you calling him gay Santa?" He was right. And that's what he likes to be called. So, and he looks fabulous, like a perfect Santa. And you got, if your name got called, you went and sat on his lap and got a gift. And I got another like, "Boy, you read my heart" gift from Krista. So Santa, I opened it up and it was the Moira Pope hat from the wedding that, you know, she officiated for David.
Oh, from Schitt's Creek.
From Schitt's Creek. So Marriage. So exactly. So that was a real shocker, and I wore it the rest of the night.
Oh, wow.
And I mean,
Okay.
I love it. I don't care who knows. So fabulous. And then, you know, Christmas morning was just, you know, us at our house until my in-laws came. And then right from there, we had to go to my girlfriend Teresa's house. And she was having like a full-on like day Christmas party. I was like, "You've got balls." I mean, like, this is like serving like a full dinner. Like, I was like, "We can't stay for dinner." This was an open house drop-in. I was like very impressed. And it was warm. So people were like outside, like she has a zip line. And this is the house where my son got his tooth knocked out. So I always have PTSD when I go there. And I look out there and there's Ethan basically in his suit going on the zip line. I'm like, "For the love of God, could you just be safe today?" I was like,
Chip.
Yeah,
He's
pretty
like,
much.
You know, lightning can't strike twice, right? I'm safe here. This is the safest place to just put my face into a tree.
He's lost 2 teeth there. I mean, he babysat there once, fell on a bed and like knocked out a loose tooth. And then the other time was a permanent tooth. So you're like, my God, no. So there has been 2 times. So lightning would strike a 3rd time if it happened again.
Same spot? Is it the same tooth?
No. Well, it might have been front teeth both times, but one was just a baby tooth, which I was like, all right, okay. It was loose, and you know, some kids never want it taken out. But it was a very busy Christmas day, and then rolled into Virginia's. You know, Virginia had set her menu. It was sending out like, "What do you want to do as a side dish?" And she was giving direction. And of course, Mark, "No, I'm going to do twice baked potatoes." I'm like, "When you're going to have to make those on like Christmas Eve? We do not have time Christmas Day to make them." So at one point, we're in the throngs of trying to finish wrapping on Christmas Eve, and Mark is making his twice baked potatoes.
So much effort.
Still in his bathrobe, looking insane. And the doorbell rings, and it's this friend Brian. And we're like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And of course, he has to take a picture of Mark, which he'll torture him for years with. And, you know, we're just laughing. I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm not offering you a drink. You get out. Like, what are you even doing here?" But he was nicely dropping off this, it's called Texas Trash. And it's basically their version of Chex Mix. So it's like, you know, but it has kind of a kick to it. So I'm like, who still makes this? And it's like a huge like Ziploc bag of it. I'm like,
It was just a gallon bag that was half full.
it was 3/4, John. But shockingly, I've put it out at every event, and it is like down to almost nothing left. So
It moves. I will say, Eric is a huge fan of Chex Mix.
What? I would have brought him
Oh my God,
some.
it's hysterical. He will make it himself every year. This year, it was all of a sudden there was just a jar of Worcestershire sauce on the counter. I'm like, uh-oh, he's getting prepped for his Chex Mix run.
Really?
So Sarah and I will like kind of joke about it. And then next thing you know, but yeah, he had some technical issues this year. Batch number 1, he decided to put in extra butter. And then it was obviously very wet and salty and not, he's like, "More butter, that could be good." No. And then I think he didn't realize that if you take out some stuff, because it calls for like 3 cups of this, 3 cups of that.
pretzels.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's just skipping some stuff. So then you don't have the actual volume. So now the wet stuff, you're putting on like a third less of what, you know, because he's got like 2 cereals in there.
But he's a spatial genius.
Well, apparently that does not apply to Chex Mix stuff. So the first batch was too salty. The second batch was slightly better. And then the third batch, he kind of got there. Because I was like, that was the other thing. He couldn't find the correct measuring spoons. He's like, "I could only find this half teaspoon." And so he did everything with a half teaspoon. And I'm like, well, did you do the Worcestershire sauce? Because it says tablespoon. He's like, yes, I did 2 of them. I'm like, yeah, teaspoon and tablespoon are different things. He's like, yeah, it didn't have enough Worcestershire sauce flavor. I'm like, yeah, okay. So the 3rd time, I like hovered and helped. I'm like, okay, so you did 3 of the rice, you did 3 of the corn. Now you're skipping the wheat, so you need 3 of something else, and then pretzels. And then what are you going to do for these bagel chips? Because you still need another cup of something. He was like, oh, that's why. It's like, you can't just leave things out. And
that was so not part of our childhood. I remember having it at one party once, thinking we were so fancy because to use cereal that way was so like, my God,
not
what
a
are
chance
you?
in our house.
Is this royalty? Like,
I know,
what is
and
happening?
it has to bake for like an hour. It takes forever.
I
like,
know.
what?
I didn't understand the concept of it at all as a kid. I was like, so you're taking cereal and just mixing it all together and throwing it in a bowl? I didn't realize the baking. And like,
we didn't grow up in a very snacky house. There wasn't like come home and have a snack, or like forget mom making you a snack. You come home and make yourself a snack. No, there was no snacks. We didn't have Chex Mix in our house. There wasn't like, dinner will be in 2 hours. Here's something to tide you over. No, it's more like, go outside for 2 hours, please.
Get away.
Yeah, I remember having it at a party once, and I was like, wow, we have Chex Mix out. Wow, you guys, like this.
We're really living it.
And so when I got the Texas Trash, because it has a kick to it, so I think that's why.
Yeah, it must have like Tabasco or some kind of chili powder.
It's not bad, but there's definitely a little kick to it, and it was a big hit. So yeah,
hilarious.
But by the time. So Christmas being Sunday, there was like the actual acknowledged holiday, bank holiday was Monday. Oh my gosh. I was like, I don't know if I got out of my pajamas. I was so
on Monday,
drained. Yeah. I was like, oh my God. I'm so
Christmas as Ginny's was very fun.
Yes.
What movie did she put on? Because we went through all of
Spirited.
dinner. Oh, right. Oh, God, Spirited's so fun. Yeah.
Which I actually, sometimes subtitles are a benefit and they can be annoying. But because there's a lot of, spoiler alert, it's a musical, basically. Mm-hmm. To catch all the lyrics, which was so clever, the subtitles, because it was kind of loud in Virginia's house, so she put on subtitles that you could track it that way. So good. Just being able to read the lyrics.
Yeah,
I'm like,
very
that
clever.
was very clever.
It's very clever. Oh, so tracking back to the Trader Joe's liqueur drink, the cream liqueur drink. Yeah, I, of course, was like, oh my God, it was such a hit on Christmas Adam. I have to bring more to Christmas Day, not realizing like this is way too much. I brought, I think, a bottle of all 4 flavors because I did find the peppermint. And there were not as many people and not as many people drinking. I now currently have so much of it in my refrigerator. I'm like, John, come on over. Have some more of this stuff with me. Because Eric doesn't really drink. Sarah doesn't drink. Adam obviously doesn't drink. So it's like, it's just me. I can't get through 5 bottles of this. Jeez.
No. And also I get to the point where any holiday flavor I'm just burnt out on. I'm done.
I'm okay right now because we're recording this a little before New Year's, so I still have a little window that I can
got the
squeak
whole
it
week.
out. Like, whoosh, but it's still a commitment. I've really overdone it. So.
I've sent Mark to 2 separate offices with cookie platters. So I'm like, I have too many holiday cookies. Although those Trader Joe's gingerbread ice little cookies, the gingerbread men.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Never had those before. Those are
God, they're really good. Yeah.
So that whole
really
box
good.
did not get given away. I still have some of that left.
Yeah.
But there's been big I'm like, get this stuff out of our house.
Yeah,
now
Ginny,
someone's breaking a tooth on some of them.
Ginny is real big on get the stuff out of my house because the day after Christmas, I want to say, well, maybe it was Tuesday, she like stopped by and was like, here's all the stuff that got left at my house. Here's leftover this. Here's not leftovers, but like a half bottle of this. Here's the 3 beers that got left behind. Here's like, I was like, oh God, I think I ended up with a bottle of wine that you had brought that did get opened.
Probably, yeah.
So I was like, what am I going to do with all this? She's like,
oh, and
enjoy.
I was like, oh. And I got a text message from her like, I should have given you rhubarb jello. Now, for those of you who don't know, what?
There is a Tupperware at Mom's house that I keep forgetting to bring you with your name on it.
I mean, I should gotta bring it to me soon, by the way. So our mother would make it. It's basically a pink jello.
Mm-hmm.
With Cool Whip rhubarb, which is kind of like a celery. but
little
has a
weird,
good
but yeah.
tang to it. And I don't know what they do to it to make it rhubarby, canned, and now it's reddish, and then strawberry jello or cherry jello.
Well, it's supposed to be wild strawberry. I was doing all the grocery shopping for that particular dinner item, and it feels like that recipe was from the 80s or the 70s.
60s probably.
/ when they were like into using, this weirdly named vegetable, you're eating it and it's in a pie. What? So it was supposed to be wild strawberry, which I think may be discontinued or not available.
Sadness.
So it ended up being raspberry, which was a very good
Substitute.
Yeah. A comparable substitute.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Was Ginny the one who requested that this get made for
I think
Christmas?
so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a good throwback because it did bring back like immediate memories of 70s.
Having a sweet item as part of your savory dinner, yeah. It was very ambrosia salad level.
Oh,
but
yeah, for sure.
We don't really do the ambrosia salad. We do rhubarb jello.
Oh, but the Mark, sacrilege. He's like, I think it needs a crunch to it, because his grandmother like literally had like a book on Jello molds. So every meal you ever went there had some Jello accompaniment side dish, right?
Oh my God, how funny!
And it would have grape nuts sometimes in them.
Grape nuts?
Yeah, because those hold a strong crunch against the Jello.
Yeah, no doubt. There are some very, very terrible Jello recipes from the 70s that include all the flavor palette stuff. Oh, you want crunchy and soft and squishy? No, I don't actually.
So I
It's
don't know
Jell-O.
where or why this was available, but there were like toasted almonds.
I think it was from, were there carrots or green beans?
Green beans. Mm-hmm. So Mark
They weren't
decides.
toasted almonds. They were almond slivers. There's a big difference between a toasted almond slice and almond
Sure.
slivers.
Okay, whatever. It was a nut that was Mark then decided, I want to put that on top of rhubarb jello. And then he thought he had like completely cracked a code and was like, you have to try it. And I was like so annoyed. I'm like, you're messing around with perfection. I was like, all right.
How dare you?
I take a bite and I'm like, yeah, no, all I can taste is almond now. But it adds another layer. So I'm like, no, it's not a layer that needed to be added. And
That's
then he
the
just
rhubarb layer.
Yeah, and then he's insisting upon it. It's like, I mean, I just was like,
Wait a minute. So is there going to be not a charcuterie platter, but a Jello like do-it-yourself buffet?
don't add, mix in, yeah. But I mean,
almost like a Sunday toppings, but make your own dinner Jello.
ugh, God, no.
Put grapes in it and carrots and celery. What is wrong with people? Celery?
Yeah, I never liked Mom's orange Jello, which had raisins and carrots in it. Like, that was Gagabaloo. But
70s.
Gagabaloo?
Weird. Cut it out,
Wow,
70s.
then she made another one that she thought was really sophisticated because, like, you added, like, that was a champagne or something bubbly and like I mean they were like Jello. I'm sorry,
Jello experimentation.
it's just too crazy.
Yeah, when we were searching for this recipe, which I don't know if we found the correct recipe, there were at least two 70s, more pamphlets than books that were like, here's some Jello recipes.
Oh yeah, they get real fancy.
Do you want the non-flavored gelatin to add to something? You're like, no. Why are you filling things in with non-flavored gelatin? What's happening?
Ugh. Ew. Well, I think Virginia did a great job.
Oh, it was fantastic. I
Brian's
thought
roast was
Christmas great.
delicious.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
His roast beast, but it's actually standing rib roast. He did a great job, and it was a very, very nice evening.
Yeah, it was lovely.
And
lovely.
the twice baked potatoes were delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes.
The salad was also delicious.
You and your salad.
my
Why
salad.
even bring a salad?
Because
Liz,
it's requested.
stop.
Why? What do you, I don't know. At least at Christmas, there's not so many other things to eat. Although this one with the added Jello and like other things, it was like, this is a lot. Again, I like a salad, but
We were on the verge of a lot. I don't think we got to a lot. I mean, Thanksgiving when we have like 10 things,
It's craziness.
It's a lot, but this was like, we barely had 6.
Yeah, I mean, Thanksgiving, there frequently is more than one mashed thing going on. This was just, we didn't even have the mashed thing. We had the twice baked potatoes. They were like already in their own little container. This is the serving size on my plate. Done.
perfect.
Yeah, and that was cute because I was sitting next to Lauren, and she, hesitantly then took a bite of the twice baked potato. She's like, And then so she kept getting into it. It was very funny because she was like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, bacon, cheese, sour cream." I'm like, "Girl,
That's pretty good. I
There's
mean, come
not
on.
a lot going wrong there." So but she was like, "Oh,
Yeah, did you put the stop on chives or something? Were we?
no." I told him to do it on the side because I just thought, I don't know if the kids, oh my God, something green, kids.
You don't know if the kids are going to jive at those chives.
Right, exactly. So Mark, in the morning, he'd chopped a bunch of chives and then did his classic, Didi brought over a beautiful French toast casserole for Christmas morning. And then Mark, wanted to have like soft scrambled eggs with them. But he's always got to turn it up. So it's like, oh, we should add cheese and chives. And then I took it over and I made them. And then he still had all these chopped chives to bring to Christmas dinner. And he left them in the refrigerator.
Oh, no.
And it still is haunting him.
Oh.
He still's like, that what was missing. And I'm like, I guess. I mean, there's most people.
No one noticed.
I don't think so. It had enough layers of flavor. And yes, it would have enhanced it, Mark. Yes, I know, Mark. Well,
in Mark's mind, he hit like a 90% and he had the 10% left for everybody. And it's very challenging to know that you'd like, oh, I dropped off. No one could get the 100% experience I wanted.
Well, my problem is I told him to go buy baked potatoes, like old school, like in the bag, because those are usually smaller potatoes individually. And, he went to like cocktails with a friend. He was telling him what he was going to do. And the friend said the same thing, which he was very annoyed by because he wanted to go like pick up his own russet potatoes, which can be like a pound each. I'm like, we don't need anything that big. So he goes, okay, I bought a bag of potatoes. I'm like, wow, he actually did what I suggested. No, he bought the bag of potatoes from Costco. So Costco, of course, has still put huge potatoes in a bag. So I was like, well, each person can eat like half or a fourth of this potato. It's so big. So we have all these potatoes left and all these chives. And he is like trying to offer them in like every freaking meal. Like we had the scouts, like a couple scout parents over last night for dinner. And he was like, well, what can we do with those potatoes and chives? I was like, get out. Like, this does not go with my menu idea at all. So still, though, very lovely holiday week. Nice way to go into what will be the new year.
New year. Here we come.
Yep.
Anybody have big plans? I have zero plans. I'm going to be at home, watch the ball drop at 9 o'clock and try and wrap things up. Although I will be breaking out that Trader Joe's cream liqueur because I still have a lot of that.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get Eric to partake a little teeny bit. Probably not, but I don't know.
We're going out with Texas trash couple, like the Angels, and two other couples out to dinner. But she did text earlier in the week. She's like, tell me that we're doing the 9 p.m. ball dropping. It's like, no, old lady. Like, I was like, we're going to a restaurant at 9 o'clock. She was like, oh my God, I'll be barely awake. I was like, drink an espresso martini was my suggestion.
Yeah, take a nap.
That was suggested. She's like, I have not been able to take naps since I had kids. So,
oh, really?
So then my backup was having an espresso martini.
That's
like,
a good
wake
suggestion.
up. Like, come on. I'm sorry, it is New Year's Eve. You can make the exception and stay awake.
You could do it. You can make it. All right, boys, what are you guys doing?
I am dog and cat sitting and may figure out something with a friend on the night of. But
all right.
No plans currently.
All right. John?
Too early to plan.
Oh, too early to plan.
I got it. Well,
all right.
To all of you, we hope that you have a safe and happy 2023 as we ring it in. Unbelievable. So
amazing.
And we're most grateful for you for listening to our podcast this year and being faithful fans of Family DynamiKs. So remember to follow us on all of our social at Family DynamiKs with a K. We appreciate it. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for listening to
Family DynamiKs.